Hi guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of 343. I'm your host AF. Welcome back to Jason, Mubeen, and Nikita. Also a special welcome back to John Shin. Glad you guys could all make it. Everybody doing good? John, you must be enjoying the sunshine over there. It's freezing cold over here in South Africa, but yeah, you must be loving the sun over
No,
in the
you know
States.
what? No. I do not. Me and the sun, we don't get along. I sweat excessively, and I miss the cold, actually. I know in London, they're absolutely dying from the heat wave. New York is kind of similar. We're actually experiencing our first heat wave now. It is disgusting here in New York City. But other than that, we're doing well. As you can tell, I'm in the car. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a fun one.
Yeah, Nikita, you just got back from the UK. How was the heat over there?
Absolutely preposterous. It was like you were breathing water. So very happy to be home in chilly, bitingly cold Cape Town, but much more comfortable than what I was last week. So very happy.
Nice. Yeah. So with our last episode, we'll just be centering the podcast around everything off-season chat, transfer news, where certain clubs are now that we've got a few pre-season games under the belt. Yeah, John, I think I'll start with you. Manchester United played 3 games so far in pre-season, won all 3 of them, the last of which came earlier today. What are your thoughts about what you've seen so far in this pre-season, and how do you think these new signings that we've made already will end up fitting into Erik ten Hag's plans?
First things first, I think for me, I want to full disclaimer. I'm usually whenever I'm doing anything content related to Manchester United, I always want to make sure that I'm 100% upfront and honest. I've not been able to catch the games fully, all of them, because here in New York City, the time zone has been absolutely preposterous. And every time the game has been live, I've actually been at work. And sometimes I'll get a cheeky session and I'll go into the bathroom, watch it half or something like that. But actually, I've really just not been able to find any time to watch the preseason games. So I've actually had to go back home and re-watch it and watch the highlights and things like that. I think you get a different perspective when you're actually watching it live versus watching a replay versus highlights. But what I've been able to gather from what I've seen so far is that Manchester United definitely seem to be upping the tempo. They definitely seem to be upping some sort of intensity. And I know it's early days, but there seems to be some sort of plan, this progression of plan that's being laid by Erik ten Hag with respect to the style of play that he wants to show, that he wants to showcase with respect to the plays that he has. And of course, we played against the Liverpool that was, we actually had an earlier preseason starting. We played against Crystal Palace, played against Melbourne. These teams, of course, is a friendly. So we're obviously not jumping the gun and we're not getting ahead of ourselves, but it's definitely exciting. I've been one of the biggest opponents of Anthony Martial since his career started at Manchester United. I've been backing him for some time, but unfortunately, he's been a bit of a letdown, to be quite honest with you. And this preseason, he's been nothing short of exciting. He's been looking really good and really sharp. He scored 3 goals in 3 games, and I've been getting absolutely dragged in the dirt by Twitter, saying that Martial is going to score 30 goals this season, and things like that are exciting for us fans to see. As much as I want to be proven wrong, it is good to see Manchester United players doing well. These players are all, in Latin, they say the word tabula rasa, which is clean slate. All these players under Erik ten Hag is going to start with a clean slate. And that's promising for me, because we're all starting with this idea that Manchester United is going to be starting with, I don't want to say no expectation, but openness to this idea that Erik ten Hag is going to need time. And same for these players. They're going to start under a new manager with this new identity. And I'm all for it. I'm really excited to see what we can do this season. Not excited in the sense that we're going to just stomp everybody and we're going to win the league. Excited in terms of seeing what Erik ten Hag can show us. Over the years, we've not been able to see this clear identity. And if Erik ten Hag can instill that upon the players within the season and show to the fans that we have something to fight for, not fight for trophies, but fight for here, the heart, I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Like you've hit the nail on the head there. I've watched 2 out of the 3 games live, and in that first game, the game against Liverpool, I mean, that first 10 to 20 minutes, the amount of pressing that we were doing, and I don't think we were giving any of the Liverpool players any time on the ball. So that was nice to see, like straight off the bat, showing Erik ten Hag's patterns of play and how he wants his team to play. And every single game has gotten better. I watched the Crystal Palace game today as well, and it's just like you mentioned, the intensity and the intensity that they played with today. It was so good. Like they hardly give any of the opponent players time on the ball, and that's something that we thought we were going to get under Ralf Rangnick last season. But the players probably just didn't want to buy into any sort of idea from a manager that's going to be gone after 6 months. So yeah, it was quite nice to see, and hopefully more of the same. And hopefully we start the season off strong.
Yeah, I just want to include a little bit about the Rangnick bit. I think, Manchester United players and the fans, we kind of felt like, he's not going to stay long term, so let's not give him whatever we want, and it felt dull. But I think the clear contrasting difference between managers like Rangnick versus maybe somebody like Erik ten Hag is that you can feel the energy. I don't know if people listening, I don't know if people watching from home, you can feel that, you understand what I'm talking about. But with Erik ten Hag and the way that he manages, the way that he coaches, he's very interactive. He's very hands-on approach, and you can clearly feel the aura of demand, the aura of authority, the presence. You could feel that from Erik ten Hag. Some people might say, John, at the end of the day, winners are winners. You can look like a schmuck but still win. Sure, I get that. But with Erik ten Hag, when we get these clips of him managing, when we get the clips of him, running up and down the touchline, screaming instructions, you feel the authority. You can kind of feel that energy and the presence about him. And certain people, they exhibit these qualities as part of their leadership identity, and you can really clearly feel that from Erik ten Hag, and that's why I love somebody like Erik ten Hag and what he's doing right now. So I'm all for Erik ten Hag. I'm on this train.
Yeah, and
John, so
okay, go ahead, Mubeen.
Is it going to be a full back tattoo, lower back, shoulder blade?
Oh, the tattoo.
Oh, I see what we're talking about. First of all, when I was on All for United, Karthik just kind of threw it on me, but it was fun. I said that if Martial scores 30 Prem goals, I will get a tattoo. I am my word. He scores 30 Premier League goals. As soon as he scores that 30th goal, I'm booking that flight to Manchester and I'm getting a tattoo. An American, I don't know if this is allowed to be said, but you call it a tramp stamp. It's right on the lower, right above the hip, on the lower, right there. That's where I'm gonna get it. Nice little, picture of Anthony Martial's face right there.
Cool.
John, I was there when Anthony Martial scored his debut brace against Liverpool at Old Trafford, in the United end, I might add. And he looked the business. He's obviously had, some personal issues over the last couple of years, but if he gets his head straight, I think you might be walking around with a tramp stamp next summer on the beach. Right?
Look, but that's the thing. As a Manchester United fan, I would love to be proven wrong. Last season, I've been so fed up with what we were seeing, what we were being given and fed as Manchester United fans, seeing this lethargic, clueless style of play, talking about midfield dominance. There was zero midfield presence at all from Fred, and he turned this season around, and he was one of the shining stars of last season, and I was so happy to be proven wrong. People on Twitter were like, John, you're an absolute bellend, you're a knobhead, you were wrong about Fred, whatnot. I'm fine with being called that. We saw, and nobody can deny to me what we saw from Manchester United, the absolute dog poo-poo stinker of a performance that they were showing week in, week out. And when I was proven wrong, I'm happy to be proven wrong. You know what I mean? If Martial can do that, I'm happy. If I can beat him, I will shake his head and I will have him sign the tramp stamp. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind that. I would love to be proven wrong. You know what I mean? But from what we've seen so far, his loan move to Sevilla was an absolute stinker. What we saw prior to his loan move from Sevilla, he looked absolutely clueless. And Nikita, you're right. If he can get his head straight, that'd be great. But I've still yet to be convinced that that's going to happen.
Okay.
Hey, sorry, just before we go, somebody needs to timestamp this. We have to get this little clip, and then
I'm clipping this. I'm clipping this, and I'm posting this on Twitter.
We will Fabrizio Romano this thing. Here we go. And we'll make sure that we have to keep this guy to his word. But yeah.
Let's do it.
I was just going to bring up the the small detail of Cristiano Ronaldo. If he stays, what does that do to Anthony Martial? Nobody wants Cristiano at the moment. Nobody wants him.
What does that do to Erik ten Hag? I think is the bigger question.
You see, and I think this whole conversation about Cristiano Ronaldo, I think it's going to be very interesting. Let's be honest. When it comes to talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, everybody walks on eggshells because he is this deity-like figure at Manchester United, right? He's this guy that won the Ballon d'Or. He's arguably the GOAT when it comes to the world of football, and he's really difficult to talk about, right? But let's face the facts. When Cristiano Ronaldo rejoined Manchester United, we weren't getting prime 70 goals a season Cristiano Ronaldo. We were getting a Cristiano Ronaldo that's been delicate. He's been trying to figure out how to play post-prime Ronaldo. He's been sort of waning down. He's been slowing down. He's been being a bit more careful with his style of play. It's not the same CR7 that we had when we were back in 2009. That being said, when people question Cristiano, or was he going to be a benefit? At the end, he turned out to be a benefit in face value, right? Because he scored the goals, right? And people were saying that, he scored a lot of goals. He proved the haters wrong, whatever. But let's be real. Let's all the nostalgia and the face value vibes aside. While he came and scored goals, there were still attached baggages that came with Cristiano Ronaldo. All the players around him had to readjust. The manager had to readjust. I honestly still to this day believe that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did not know that he was going to get Cristiano Ronaldo, and then all of a sudden his plans changed and his identity and all that stuff that he had to work around. I think it all changed, and I honestly feel like Cristiano Ronaldo rejoining potentially, while it's easy to say that he scored great goals and it was a benefit, also came with massive baggages. We see that now. We see the impact. We feel the impact, and to me, Cristiano Ronaldo, if he doesn't leave, that's fine, whatever. My main real focal point will be Erik ten Hag and Cristiano Ronaldo. How will Erik ten Hag manage Cristiano Ronaldo? Because everybody that's telling me right now is saying that Cristiano Ronaldo is not going to walk back into this side. Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, and Anthony Martial are looking absolutely delicious right now, that front three. I'm all for it. I don't know if Cristiano Ronaldo will slot right back in and give the same kind of output. He's obviously not even been in preseason, so there's always going to be questions asked. Is Erik ten Hag going to be able to manage that kind of ego, that kind of Cristiano Ronaldo, who is all about CR7, the CR7, the GOAT, CR7, the Ballon d'Or, multiple Ballon d'Or winner, CR7, the brand, the underwear, everything about CR7. Is he going to be manageable? Is Erik ten Hag going to be answering? Is the club always first? Or anything else? He's going to have that big battle ahead of him, and that's what I'm looking forward to watch. I'm nervous, but I want to see how that happens. Because if Cristiano Ronaldo plays, let's be honest, if he plays and he starts playing like a stinker and he doesn't fit into the side, he has to be pulled out. And if, God forbid, in my case, if Martial starts coming back in and he starts firing goals left, right, and center, then Cristiano Ronaldo has to sit on the bench, whether he likes it or not. And Manchester United fans are going to be closely watching how Erik ten Hag manages this. Because if Erik ten Hag sits Cristiano Ronaldo and he starts being petulant and he starts saying shit, and Erik ten Hag goes, Manchester United, the club comes first, Manchester United fans will be relieved to hear that because, wow, we have a manager who's able to, assert his authority. And that's even more authority than we were just talking about before. So I'm really curious to see how Cristiano Ronaldo fits into this side right now.
I must say, as an outsider looking in, I think, honestly, that if Ronaldo stays, your club will be torn in two. And I don't think Ten Hag will survive that. Because unfortunately, you know it. There are so many United fans who became Real Madrid fans just because CR7 went there after he left United. Right. Your fan base will be torn down the middle when a guy like Ten Hag starts benching, if it's even possible, benching CR7. And the thing is, last season, CR7 scored the goals. He banged in the goals. It might not have necessarily been the right thing for the team, for the greater development of the group, but he banged in the goals. And yeah, I just don't think Ten Hag needs that additional burden. He's already got the weight of having to get Manchester United out of a decade-long crisis. Let's be honest, it's a crisis now. It's been a decade. He doesn't need having that competitive alpha male energy in the dressing room and on the pitch as well. So I think for the sake of your club, I think he needs to go. He needs to go.
Wholeheartedly. I mean, if it's going to cause Eric Ten Hag more problems, why does he need it, right? I would rather Cristiano Ronaldo leave. I saw a report like a week ago about how there's a Saudi club that was looking to purchase him for about 30 mil, and he was going to be paid two seasons. He's going to be paid 250 mil. Why not? Why the hell not? Manchester United should have been moving like that. But of course, exactly what's going on behind the scenes. We have no idea if it's genuinely, truly a family matter. We have no idea, so we can only speculate. But if he's going to, we're all talking in projections here. We're all talking hypotheses and ifs and buts. But if Cristiano Ronaldo does stay, and if he does cause problems for Eric Ten Hag, then that shouldn't be Eric Ten Hag's issue to be worrying about. Manchester United should be moving him on. Period.
100%.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that one progresses. But moving on from Manchester United now, Nikita, with Mane gone and a few new faces in that front line, is it a case of them starting from scratch, finding chemistry with each other? Does Klopp know after these, I don't know how many games have they played already? 3 games?
Two.
Two games? Yeah, like where does Klopp go from here?
Look, I think like the best thing we did was, kind of bamboozle Spurs to get Diaz in Jan. He's had 6 months with us, and I personally think he's been absolutely fabulous. To integrate into a Klopp team as quickly as he did, we've not seen that before. I mean, we've seen Fabinho, Thiago, all the best guys, kind of take 6 months to integrate. So it was really good to see Diaz hit the ground running. I mean, Mane is obviously a big loss. His goals, his energy, his dynamism, he's a very, very poor first touch. But, he's still Mane. And he's been part of, this kind of 6-year legacy that I think, has been one of the big highlights in our club's history. And he'll obviously be missed. But I think, there's been a lot of criticism of Darwin Núñez over 2 games, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if everyone's completely forgotten about what we saw in the Champions League last season. He mightily impressed me. And I think he adds a new dynamic to our front 3. We still have people underestimate. We still have the likes of Jota, and you underestimate that he scored 20 goals last season. We still have Bobby Firmino, who I think will be prioritized, not in the front 3, but probably in the midfield position this season, just because we have 80-year-old midfielders across the line there. But I'm not too concerned. Liverpool will and always will be goals. It's not like Rafa Benitez is coaching us again. So I'm not concerned about that. I am concerned about the midfield engine. It does keep me awake at night. And, I think if we leave it past the season, I think Jude Bellingham will probably end up at the likes of a bigger, I wouldn't say a bigger club, but probably a club that can offer you more money, Real Madrid or, Manchester City or something like that next season. So I really do hope we land him. But if not, I'm very happy going into the season because, again, it will be a title run, but not a title win. I just think City have improved too much in that regard. And hopefully we can bag a couple more trophies. But yeah, we'll have a season outlook in another episode, I'm sure, closer to the time.
I saw that Jota's might miss the starting of the season though. So
yeah. He might. Also, Alisson probably will, but I mean, Alisson misses the start of every season. I think he goes to Brazil and he wrestles like buffalo or something. I don't know what he does, but he always comes back injured. But yeah, I'm confident. I think the guys have had a good preseason. I mean, Manchester United, you guys are still in Australia, right? We came back, went on training camp, and I think that's also very important because we've got a couple of new faces as well, and a couple of young guys that toured with us. So. I'm comfortable. We got Community Shield. We also use as a big proper, pre-season game. So yeah, I think we'll have enough of a proper starting 11 to start off the season. And then we have this strange season. What is this? Season 3 or 4 of the strange footballing seasons because we have 500 games between now and November. So it's going to be another interesting.
And then it's the World Cup break as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then 150 games after you come back from the World Cup. So it's going to be another interesting year. But really, I just wish for some normalcy now. Just a normal 1 game, 2 games a week type of thing. Not like when you're trying to play FPL and you've got 4 fixtures in a week or something. It's insane.
I've actually been noticing a lot of Genie Wijnaldum tweets on my timeline lately, saying that he's been left out of the squad for PSG's pre-season turn. Do you think that's something that Liverpool will go near again?
Look, I don't think so. I think Liverpool's now the owners have reached their cap on how many 30-plus-year-olds they can actually give contracts to. So I think, Genie, rightly or wrongly, he made a decision to go there. The grass has obviously now not been greener. It's very, very sad because I think he's a fantastic athlete, fantastic contributor. I mean, if you guys recall, when he was at Newcastle, we signed him, he was a winger. And he basically became a hybrid CDM box-to-box kind of player for us. So I take my hat off. I have a lot of love and a lot of respect for him, but I don't think that's a calling home that's going to happen. Look, maybe he'll go to the two. Maybe he'll come back to England, and I think
Saudi
he can
money.
Contribute. Yeah, Saudi money. But on the topic of PS,
oil.
Oil and oil mixes, guys. Yeah. But on the topic of PSG and Ronaldo, why doesn't PSG just give us what we all want?
Messi and Ronaldo.
So we can see Messi and Ronaldo.
Let the fairy tale end in the best way possible.
In the worst way, it'll capitulate. I think that whole
No, it will be amazing. It will be absolutely amazing. I'm here for that all day.
John is laughing. He wants Cristiano to stay so that Martial doesn't score 30 goals.
Yeah. He's thinking of the plane already.
I don't mind Cristiano Ronaldo staying as long as he's a benefit. If he goes to PSG, that's great. You know what I mean? We all want to see that. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think PSG have made enough mistakes.
yeah, I think you bang on there. They've made enough mistakes.
Yeah. Moving on to another oil club, which is Manchester City. Jason, what do you have for us?
First, I'd like to send my thanks to Man City for sending two of their own. As an Arsenal fan, I'm quite excited. But yeah, no, I think every year when we talk about EPL, we talk about the Premier League, and we talk about how every season just gets better and better, it's because teams are strengthening, obviously, right? And now City acquire an out-and-out striker in Erling Haaland, probably one of the best at this moment in time in that under 23 age bracket, even could be out of that bracket, but still one of the hottest prospects, hottest players at this moment in time, the last 2 or 3 seasons maybe. They sign a wonder kid, Julian Alvarez, and then they just acquire little pieces that fit into Pep's system. Yeah, it's crazy because they've, okay, not little pieces. When I think about Calvin Phillips coming in as now, Fernandinho's gone. They've literally just taken Fernandinho out, put Calvin Phillips in. Zinchenko coming to Arsenal, which should be confirmed maybe later at the end of this week. And now they linked with Cucurella, or have been linked with him for like ages now. So I think that will probably pick up now. So it's like everybody's strengthening. You know, Chelsea's even acquired some good players. I mean, Man City is almost like this gift that just keeps on giving. I mean, Raheem Sterling, Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, these were all good parts in a well-oiled machine last season, and now they're just gone. And it's like City don't look like they've weakened at all. It seems like they've let those guys go, and it's like, okay, we'll still compete. We'll still win our mandatory, 30 or 34 games per season. It's like, it's crazy. But I think, I mean, saying all of that, if they're not pushing Champions League, if they're not making final and not really winning that, then yeah, I don't know. It seems like that's literally one of the only things that's stopping Pep now. And it's actually, yeah, maybe it's that Yaya Toure curse, but yeah. City's looking good, man.
They should have just given the guys cake.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, guys, like, let's be honest, think back. I don't have much of a memory, but think back, like, when last have we seen English clubs, okay, other than, the crap, like the Bournemouths and the Burnleys of the world, when have we seen, like, top 6 English clubs just be like, yeah, here we go, help me with my FFP, and sell to another top 6 English club? I mean, it's been decades. And we're not talking about Zinchenko is a legit, like, fullback, either side, actually. Jesus is a 20-goal a season striker. I mean, Raheem Sterling has I can honestly say, developed astronomically since he left Liverpool and joined City. And they're just like, yeah, top 6 rival. Here we go. I mean, the absolute like arrogance of it all is insane. I mean, we spoke about this quite a bit last season, but it kind of just shows how dominant they are in this league. You know, that they can, you know, let go of
Almost level
such
out
high
that, try and
Yeah.
level out that whole playing field, but still
Yeah, because
being
all
up there.
3 of those players improve the clubs that they've gone to, the starting
Yeah.
11 of the clubs that they've gone to. And they're just like, yeah, no, we cool. We all right. it's madness, man. It's madness.
The fact that like City could like tell Chelsea, and I mean, Chelsea is not a United at the moment that's like struggling or like trying to get back into that top 4 spot. Chelsea's like in that space already. So the fact that they can tell Chelsea, here's Raheem Sterling, one of the best wingers in England, you can have him, and it's not even, he wasn't even that expensive. What was he? 45 million?
45.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, but I also think like, guys, I think like this transfer window is really recalibrated transfer prices. Like I know everyone's saying like, oh, 45, 35 for Mane, 45 for Raheem or whatever. And maybe that, 35 for Lewandowski or whatever he's going to go for. I'm so happy because this is the one good thing COVID has given us. It's just recalibrated what people should actually be paying for players.
Yeah.
60 million for Darwin Núñez, kind of reasonable, kind of expensive-ish, kind of reasonable. Erling Haaland, I mean, also a reasonable figure. Let's start
100%.
perpetuating this.
I also think in the same breath, as much as the fees or the figures are sort of, brought back to normalcy, so to say, a lot of the guys are running down their contracts and not renewing. And I think that also plays a major part. I mean, Mane, I think Haaland's contract was also run down, Lewandowski. So I think that also plays a big part. And I think we're seeing a lot of that. These major players or big names are running down their contracts. So that's actually quite scary. There's no loyalty anymore to clubs. They go for 3 seasons, 5 seasons, and then they look for the next big paycheck, I suppose.
I guess in Sadio Mane's situation, he won everything that he was available, and it was more of what more can I actually achieve here? Let me try a different challenge in a different league, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, what was he going to achieve at Liverpool like for another season? Like, and I completely understand like where he was coming from.
No, agreed. I mean, there are many more. I mean, Mane is an exception, but there are many more.
But I mean, you must also understand, like a lot of these guys lost 2 years, right? Because there were no moves, very few moves over the COVID period. So these guys lost 2 years, and 2 years in footballing terms is like, in my mind, is a decade of my working career. So, I understand Lewandowski wanting to play for Barcelona. I would also want to play for Barcelona and have that on my CV, by the time I retire, and he's at that age. So, for the older guys, I totally understand. And I mean, I think we can all agree. I mean, I'm just not talking about the big guys, but like Haaland, he was being wasted in Germany, the Farmers League. I mean, he was going to go to Bayern and win in the Champions League, then, I think he probably made the right move. And he's just a little bit sentimental because his dad played there as well. So I think I hear what you're saying about running down contracts and so on. And I mean, look, Salah re-signed for us. I'm pretty sure he'll leave at the end of the season anyway. And again, I don't know if that's a loyalty thing or just like get something else on your CV thing, but I'm just happy I don't have to talk about, transfer fees over £100 million because that just makes me a bit nauseated.
Unless Ronaldo moves to Saudi.
Yeah, well, we can do love soccer to challenge with love golf.
And then when you staying on the topic of running down contracts, you have Paul Pogba as well, which that entire situation just backfired on him completely. I think he was holding out for like a 14 million contract from United, and then they didn't come to the party. They didn't offer him what he wanted, and then his contract ended, and he ended up getting 6 million from Juventus. So, I mean, United, the contract that United came to him with was 10 million. So in essence, he's made like a huge loss on what he could have been earning. Yeah, I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles.
He doesn't have to live in Manchester though, so that's a win.
Yeah, he actually gets to go somewhere where maybe his fans appreciate. I don't know. Maybe what do I know? Maybe John can weigh in. I think he's had a lot to say about
the whole thing about Paul Pogba is that it's just like the Cristiano Ronaldo situation. Paul Pogba, it's not so clearly one-sided. It's not that Paul Pogba was hung on a cross and was victimized for all of Manchester United's failures. It's not just that Manchester United didn't build a team around him. It's not just that Paul Pogba's agent, former agent, rest in peace. It's not that he was the one, creating all this noise. It wasn't that Paul Pogba's twin brothers were always chatting shite about Manchester United. There's so many problems that came with Paul Pogba and Manchester United's relationships. I talk about it on any sort of podcast, on any sort of show I always go on. When I'm asked about Paul Pogba, I say the same thing all the time. It's like you're going out with a girl. You're on a, you've been going out, you've been dating for quite some time. And then, you're getting fed up with each other. And then she says that you're fat. And then you say that her breath smells. And she says that, I don't like your parents. And then you tell her all these hurtful things are already said. And you can't take that back. The damage is done. Wounds heals, but scars remain. And that was the relationship between Manchester United and Paul Pogba. And at this point, I think he's already collected all the money that he's wanted at Manchester United anyway. I think at this point, he just wants to feel loved, and he just wants to still feel loved at, with a relative amount of, a competition at a competitive level. And Juventus is exactly the same place. We've seen that with Romelu Lukaku. He's realized, he's even come out and said leaving Inter Milan was a mistake, literally pretty much severing any sort of remedial relationship that he might have had with Chelsea fans. He doesn't give a damn. He just wants to play ball, and he just wants to feel loved. That's the same for Paul Pogba. He's gonna go to Juventus. I saw he was doing some training session, and he did some flip flap elastico, and he passed it with a back heel. And Juventus fans were just like, "Oh my days, it's over. We're winning the whole fucking Scudetto, everything." He wants to feel. And if that's what he wants, then let him have it. You know what I mean? Manchester United fans would have loved to give him the same thing, but it just wasn't happening. So, only good vibes. If Paul Pogba succeeds and he loves his, relationship with Juventus fans, that's great. Manchester United finally offloaded a player that pretty much resembled this sort of ineffectiveness and a lack of quality overall at Manchester United. So, all parties concerned, I think it was a good move. I'm happy for him. If he gets to have fans loving him for freaking doing flip flops and elasticos and training sessions, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I guess that's a nice note to end up off on over there. Yeah, that's all that we have for you guys today. Episode 22 of 343. Just a reminder, if you are joining us for the first time, then please follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Sportycast and give this video a like and a share. Hit that subscribe button below as well. And we've been doing some player profile during the transfer window on Instagram and Twitter. So hop onto our pages, give us a like, give us a share. It's just some things that we put together for transfer targets and stuff. But yeah, thanks you guys for pulling through. Always a pleasure. John, where can the viewers find you on social media?
You guys can come find me chatting absolute nonsense like I've done today at Mr. John Shin on Twitter. We just have good times and good vibes always. Thank you guys for having me. I apologize I had to do this over the car. This is the perfect time to wrap up because I see my coworkers walking back from lunch and they're staring at me like, what the hell am I doing? So this is the perfect time to wrap up. But guys, thank you for having me as always.
Cool, man. Hope to see more of you during the season. Hopefully we'll be having happy tears this season instead of sad ones. But yeah, I'm AF for 343 and see you guys in a bit.